You know, most of us spend our entire lives building a prison for ourselves, and the bricks are made out of the opinions of other people. We carefully choose our words, our actions, even our dreams, all just to stay likable. But this constant need for approval, it has a massive hidden cost. Today, we're going to dissect the art of being disliked. This cold, strategic realization that your true power only kicks in the moment you stop asking for permission to just exist. Think about that for a second. Every single time you say yes just to keep the peace, you're actually saying no to your own truth. We're going to break down the heavy cost of that habit, and then we're going to introduce a way more powerful alternative, the psychology of what we call the sovereign mind. So first up, we have to understand the prison we're in, the one we build for ourselves brick by painful brick, using what other people think of us. Look, this isn't just about feeling a little bad when someone doesn't like you. This is about being shackled. Trying to be likable all the time means you're living a performance, and the price of that performance? It's your authenticity, and ultimately, it's your own personal power.
But hey, before you start blaming yourself for being a people pleaser, it is absolutely crucial to understand that this is not some character flaw. It's actually a deep, biological legacy that's hardwired into your brain.
Have you ever felt that tightness in your chest, your heart racing, just because you think someone might be mad at you? Or maybe you replay a conversation 100 times, wondering if you said too much, if you were too much. Well, there's a very real reason why disapproval stings so badly. Get this, your brain literally cannot tell the difference between a broken arm and a broken friendship. When you feel that sting of someone's disapproval, your brain fires up the exact same pain centers as it would for a physical injury. It honestly thinks you are being wounded.
For our ancient ancestors, this made perfect sense. Being disliked by the tribe meant being cast out, and being cast out in the wild was a death sentence. So your brain evolved to treat social rejection like a life-or-death emergency. And here is the absolute key takeaway from all this brain science. That ancient survival mechanism, it's totally outdated now. It's misfiring in our modern world, where the tribe you're trying to please is often just a bunch of random people on the internet. Their opinion is not a threat to your survival.
Okay, so we've established our brain's hardware is basically ancient. But what about the software? Well, that deep-seated fear gets installed and hardwired into our nervous system when we're growing up. A lot of us grew up in homes where love felt, well, conditional, like a currency you had to earn by performing. We learned that being disliked by a parent meant a loss of safety, a loss of love. This creates what psychologists call the fawn response. You're in a permanent state of scanning for trouble so you can smooth things over before they get bad. And here's the crazy part. As a kid, that fawn response, it kept you safe. It worked. But now, as an adult, it has become your ceiling. You can't lead a team if you're terrified to leave the crowd. You can't innovate if you're scared of being misunderstood. The very thing that protected you is now keeping you small. All right, so we've diagnosed the problem pretty thoroughly. Now, let's get into the solution. This is where we make a huge pivot to a completely different and, frankly, far more powerful strategic principle. This right here, this is the core logic of high-value individuals and real leaders. They get it. They understand that to have a strong, clear signal, you have to be willing to create some noise. Being vanilla might feel safe, but it's also completely forgettable. It's uninfluential. So when you finally decide to stand firmly in your truth, you basically become a magnet. You naturally pull in the people who are on your frequency, and, this in the critical part, you violently repel those who aren't. And that repulsion? That's not failure, that is a strategic filter. In fact, being disliked by the right people is actually proof that you're doing something right. It means you finally have a boundary. It means you have a spine. It means you've become a sovereign entity that can't just be pushed around or easily manipulated.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually put this sovereign mindset to work in our messy, day-to-day lives? Let's get into the practical tools.
I want you to try this. It's a simple but incredibly powerful exercise. Seriously. List the 5 people whose disapproval scares you the most. Now, look at that list and ask yourself, honestly, do these people live lives that I truly admire? If the answer is no, then their disapproval is actually a compass. It's pointing you in the right direction. Okay, here's a mantra to use in those moments of panic. Right when you're setting a boundary and you feel that guilt or fear creeping in, just repeat this to yourself. I am safe. Their opinion is not a threat.
It is just data. This helps regulate that ancient nervous system and brings you back into the present reality.
Now, the final stage of this transformation is what I call strategic silence. You have to stop defending your choices, because when you explain yourself, you're subconsciously asking for their permission to be who you are. A sovereign mind doesn't ask for permission, it just executes.
When someone doesn't like your new boundaries, let them. Just let them. There is a profound, almost dark power in being completely okay with being the villain in someone else's story, if that's the price you have to pay for your own freedom and your own integrity.
So, we'll leave you with this final question, because at the end of the day, this is the core choice we all have to make. Are you willing to trade that fleeting, hollow warmth of being liked by everyone for the solid, unshakable, cold, hard steel of integrity? The choice is yours.